Today we're going to be looking at why Europeans think Americans are crazy. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss an upload. Also, stick around until the end of the video because there will be a special message for our American viewers. So let's get right into it. Number 10, American greetings. Have you ever noticed how friendly Americans can be? They'll greet you with a, "Hi, how are you?" even if they don't know you. And it doesn't matter whether it's early in the morning or late at night. Americans always seem to have a smile on their face and are eager to help others. To some Europeans, this can seem fake or insincere. They think that Americans are only being nice to them because they want something in return, and that's why they prefer not to make small talk with strangers. Europeans feel uncomfortable with the overly friendly nature of Americans, and they believe that Americans don't respect their privacy when they ask too many personal questions. Number 9, tipping culture. In the United States, it is customary to leave a tip when you receive a service. This is especially true when eating out at restaurants or getting a haircut. The amount of money you tip usually depends on the quality of the service you received. For example, if your waiter was friendly and attentive, you might leave a bigger tip than if they were rude and slow. On the other hand, tipping is not really necessary back in Europe. It's actually illegal for waiters to accept tips in many European countries, including France, Germany, and Austria. There have been cases where waiters have been fired for accepting tips from customers. In these countries, waiters are paid a fair wage by their employers, and if they want to make more money, they can do things like work overtime or get raises. So Europeans can't understand why Americans feel the need to tip when they go out to eat. They think it's just another way that businesses try to nickel and dime their customers. Number 8, free Wi-Fi. In recent years, it has become commonplace for businesses to offer free Wi-Fi to their customers. This is especially true in the United States, where people rely on the internet to do almost everything. However, in many European countries, you still have to pay for internet access. Even if you're just trying to use the Wi-Fi to look up directions or find a phone number, you're often asked to purchase a few euros worth of internet time. This can be very frustrating for Americans who are used to getting things for free. They start to feel like Europeans are cheap when they refuse to tip or pay for Wi-Fi. But the truth is that Europeans are often just trying to save money. After all, they don't want to be ripped off by businesses. Number 7, American portions. Most Europeans have no idea why Americans need such big portions of food. They look at American portion sizes and shake their heads in disbelief. In Europe, it's common for restaurants to serve smaller portions of food, but those portions are typically more flavorful and made with higher quality ingredients. By contrast, American restaurants often serve massive portions of food that are bland and made with cheaper ingredients. Europeans also don't understand why Americans are so wasteful when it comes to food. They see Americans throwing away half of their meals all the time, and they wonder why they can't take their leftovers home. The truth is that Americans are used to getting a lot of food for their money. When they order a burger and fries, they expect to get a mountain of fries. If they don't get a large portion of food, they feel like they're not getting their money's worth. No. 6, too much packaging. Have you ever noticed how much packaging there is on American food? It seems like everything is wrapped in plastic or cardboard, and that's not good for the environment. In addition, all that packaging makes it more difficult to recycle. Not only that, but it also takes up valuable space in landfills. Some Europeans think that this is just another example of American greed. They believe that businesses are doing it to make more money. After all, they have to buy the packaging materials from someone. Others think that it's a safety issue. They believe that the packaging is there to protect the food from contamination. No matter what the reason is, Europeans wish that Americans would use less packaging. They think it's a simple way to reduce waste and help the environment. Number 5, loud talking. Some Europeans are bothered by the way Americans talk to each other. To them, Americans sound loud and aggressive. They think Americans don't know how to have a quiet conversation. And it's not just Americans who talk loudly. Europeans also notice that Americans laugh loudly, cry loudly, and even sing loudly. Some people think it's just part of the American culture. They grew up hearing Americans talking loudly, and they got used to it. Other people think it's because Americans are more emotional than Europeans. They think Americans are more likely to get excited or upset about things, which makes them talk louder. Whatever the reason, some Europeans find it difficult to understand why Americans talk so loudly. They think it's unnecessary and it can be annoying. Number 4, the American accent. While some Europeans love the way Americans speak, others find it absolutely grating. There are a number of different accents across the United States, but the one that's most common is the Midwestern accent. It's characterized by the pronunciation of certain vowels, such as the short A sound in words like bath and grass. The Midwest accent is often seen as being nasal and sing-songy by Europeans. It can be very difficult for them to understand what Americans are saying, especially when they're speaking quickly. Some Europeans have even tried to imitate the American accent, but they can't get it quite right. They end up sounding like they're from Boston or New York instead of the Midwest. Ultimately, some Europeans just can't get used to the way Americans sound. They find it too different from their own accents, and it bothers them. Number 3, American slang. Slang is a type of language that's informal and often specific to a particular group of people. It's constantly evolving, which means new slang words are created all the time. For example, the word lit is a slang word that means exciting or fun. It's a relatively new word, and it's only popular among a certain group of people. Europeans are often confused by American slang, and they don't always understand what Americans are saying. For example, if an American says that a party was lit, a European might have no idea what they're talking about. Europeans can also find American slang to be grating. They might not be familiar with certain phrases, and it can be difficult to understand what Americans are saying. Some Europeans even find American slang to be offensive. They might not understand the meaning behind certain words, and they could take them the wrong way. Number 2, the American laugh. When it comes to laughter, there's no accounting for taste. What one person finds funny, another might find grating. And that's especially true when it comes to American laughter. To some Europeans, the sound of an American laugh is absolutely grating. They think it's loud and obnoxious, and they don't understand why Americans feel the need to laugh so loudly. Other Europeans find American laughter to be fake and insincere. They think Americans are only laughing to be polite, and they don't actually find the joke to be funny. Some Europeans even find American laughter to be annoying. They think Americans laugh too much, and it gets old after a while. No matter what the reason, there's no denying that some Europeans just can't stand the sound of an American laugh. And finally, number 1, the American smile. You've probably noticed how often Americans smile, even when they're not happy. A lot of Europeans think it's weird. They don't understand why Americans feel the need to hide their negative emotions. And it's not just because Americans are trying to be polite. They genuinely believe that smiling can make people feel better. Some Europeans even think that American smiles are fake. They think Americans are only smiling to make themselves look good, and they don't actually feel happy inside. Whatever the reason, some Europeans just can't stand the sight of an American smile. They think it's creepy and unsettling. But now it's time for us to ask the question, why do Europeans think Americans are crazy? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're American, tell us about a time when you thought a European was crazy. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching.